The best way to start a description of the learning map is with what people know, which is a rubric. Because a rubric is a two-dimensional, it's got two matrices across the top, probably, of the learning map will be, or the rubric will be expectations at 3 levels. What you would expect if the student was doing above grade level, let's say, doing really well, what you'd expect if they're doing okay, and what you'd expect if they're struggling. And down the side of the learning map will be the aspects of what you're looking for. Now, the first thing you've really got to do, and this is the harder part, is to define what it is, what you're looking for, that would tell you that the outcomes have actually been achieved. But the first thing you have to do is to define those outcomes in terms of a big idea for teaching. And people find this difficult because most of the time we think of teaching as a series of activities, things that children are asked to do, and then we check whether they've done them or not. But this takes a little bit different as a way of thinking. It's a bit different as a way of thinking, because what we're now asking people to do is what it is you want the students to learn. That means looking really carefully at the expected outcomes, which you'll find in the curriculum, the provincial curriculum, let's say in this case. And from that, for this set of period of time for teaching, what do you want your students to learn, and how does that relate to the outcomes? So you'll be knitting the outcomes together to create a learning program for the students based on what it is you want them to learn, what's the big idea. And when you've identified that big idea, you're then saying, if this big idea was learned, how would I know? What would I be looking for or looking at to show me that the big idea had been achieved, had been learned? And at what level, what standard had it been achieved? And the next step is to begin to fill in the boxes in that learning map, so that for each aspect of what you're looking for and for each level that you're looking or expecting to find, you're actually defining in words that make sense to you and preferably make sense to the parents and the students as well. What is it we're actually going to be looking for to tell us that this level has been achieved? And I think personally that's too hard a job for a teacher to do on their own. You could try, but defining those words and finding those big ideas and then thinking about and almost brainstorming, what would I be looking for to know that those big ideas have been achieved? That's much better done in company. You need people to help with that. And I really feel that teachers working together is the way to achieve it.